everyone, welcome to our presentation about family involvement, working collaboratively and effectively with parents of children with autism spectrum disorder. This presentation will explain why it is important for parents and/or caregivers to be involved with the treatment of their children who have autism, and why it is important for support workers to foster positive relationships with the parents so that they can collaborate effectively. First, we will look at the definition of autism spectrum disorder. Autism Ontario defines ASD as a lifelong neurodevelopmental disorder that affects the way a person communicates and relates to people and the world around them. Autism can affect body language and posture, social interactions and relationships, how you engage with your interests, and sensory processing capacities. Autism exists in all cultures, ethnicities, races, and gender identities. And autism exists on a spectrum, which means that while all people on the spectrum will experience some of the same differences mentioned above, the degree to which each autistic person experiences them and the amount of support they need will vary. Again, all of this information is from the Autism Ontario website. So, autism does not discriminate, and one person with autism will have a different experience than another person with autism, and so on. Because this diagnosis exists with so many variances, knowledge of the person with autism and their needs and their preferences is extremely valuable, which is why it is so important to have their family involved in their care. A primary caregiver is an expert when it comes to their child. Why is early intervention important when autism spectrum disorder is suspected? So early intervention means that the parents will seek out opinions, diagnoses, and treatments for their children right away when they see signs of autism, instead of waiting it out, for example, to see if the child grows out of the behavior. Research has shown that early intervention can effectively improve social communication in children with ASD. It is important for families to be involved and engaged with the process and advocate for early intervention. It's important as well for families to advocate for their children, especially here in Ontario, where there are long wait times. Just anecdotally, it took my son almost 2 years to be diagnosed, from the first time I took him to our family doctor to be referred to a developmental pediatrician until the day we got the official diagnosis. Family involvement and collaboration with parents are essential components of providing high-quality care and support for children and youth. Research has shown that involving families in the care of the process can lead to better outcomes, such as increased engagement in treatment, improved academic performance, and reduced rates of behavior problems. And that information is from the National Institute of Mental Health. Why is it beneficial to collaborate with parents of children with autism in an educational setting? Earlier, when we were defining autism, we noted that people with autism have unique experiences and that their preferences and needs can vary extensively from person to person. A parent is an expert on their own child and can provide a school team with so much valuable information on how to enhance their child's day-to-day life at school and help them achieve their goals. For example, parents know if their child has seen an occupational or physical therapist, and they know the results of those appointments. They know when their child hit developmental milestones. They know all about what special interests their child has, and how they react to sensory stimulation or to a lack of sensory stimulation. They can help teachers and EAs develop strategies for motivation or calming, and they can use those same strategies at home to be consistent. Parents know all about their child's behavior patterns and their personality. This saves the school team a lot of guesswork and trial and error, which is so beneficial for the student. So, all of this information is valuable because it helps maintain consistency across both the home and school settings. The child knows what to expect and has an easier time predicting routines and expectations because both environments run the same way, at home with their parents and at school with their teachers and EAs. The child doesn't have to transition their behavior from home to school and back again. This consistency is key to a successful school day. How does family involvement affect my role as an EA? It may be my job in the future to foster a positive relationship with the family of a student with autism. I know when I'm picking up my son, it's nice to see a friendly face with him, especially if I'm picking him up because his behavior has been unmanageable. The EAs show a lot of compassion on those days, which is appreciated. My son was diagnosed in March of 2020, which made it very difficult for us to access services because the world literally shut down around us. But our relationship with the school professionals made things easier. My son was invited to go to the school while it was closed, with a few of the other kids who needed a bit of support. I know they know we were struggling, but they managed it with a lot of grace, again, which was very appreciated. It will also be part of my job to communicate with the teacher and the principal if the student is struggling with their behavior, and potentially be part of a meeting with the family to come up with an action plan. And I will likely be responsible for communicating about the child's day with the parents. Of course, any written communication going home should be reviewed by the classroom teacher. Providing education and resources for parents is critical. So, even though we aren't qualified to educate parents of students with autism or parents who suspect their child has autism, we can certainly point them in the direction of some good resources. For that reason, we have included some examples of local resources that provide support and guidance to families of children and adults with autism. And expanding on that, we've put together a quick rundown of Autism Ontario and what information parents can expect to access by taking a look at their website. And these are just our references that we used in our written paper and in this presentation here. It's a couple of pages, so I'll just skim through them and then you can pause your video if you want to take a closer look. So that was our video. Thank you very much for watching, and definitely please let us know if you have any questions or comments. Have a great day.